Howdy, you all. This is Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom.
This is Will accompanying him yet again.
Yes, it is episode 7. What is your rating for episode 7, Will?
It was a fantastic episode, and it could have been so much better. But Amber is still not gone. She's still not gone.
Spoilers, by the way. I'm talking like this right now because I'm ticked. It was on the edge of a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Oh, we were this close.
And we're not quite sure if there's a breakup. Maybe. Kind of seemed like
we're
it
going
was.
to drag it out for yet another episode. Yay.
And they're going to awkwardly stare at each other and talk.
With the weird camera angles and the many excessive tears that are not genuine.
Yeah.
I mean, genuine for them, not genuine for us, because genuinely no one cares. Just please break up. No one cares about your relationship.
We've all known it's coming for a long time, and we had
I mean, quite literally, I've seen all over TikTok people making memes about this failing relationship and just how it won't die yet, and how literally the entire fandom would just rejoice like no tomorrow when it finally happens, but yet they still keep dragging out this failure of a relationship dynamic. Just even longer. I don't understand how they do it, but they do it.
I know, it doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop.
Everyone wants it to end, and yet it still doesn't.
So let's save our rating for the end of this one, because it's a mess. We started Comic-Con, right?
Yes, and we have the hilarious fourth wall break.
Of the comic book creator for Sans Dog, which I wonder if that's actually the creator of the comic Invincible or something. Voicing
it might
himself.
be.
I don't know for sure, but it'd be really funny.
I'd have to look into that, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, and he made mention of such funny things of like tricks that they use in animation to like having somebody talk from behind their head, or a large pan out away from the crowd where nothing's actually moving, but you think there is.
Or they have their hand over their mouth, or something is blocking their mouth, or their mouth is slightly out of frame so they don't have to animate mouth movements.
Yeah, and they do all of it as it's happening, and then also mention like sometimes in close-ups they get higher fidelity graphics for the drawing.
And it was just overtly
and
detailed.
Mark looked very impressive for a second.
He looked pristine.
And it was funny because I think they put an Easter egg after the fact, and we were laughing about it so hard because I started noticing right after that, because Mark has to go save Rex, who got out of the hospital and wanted to at least like see if he could still be a superhero without half of his brain.
Which I don't even know how he's this competent. Because like last time he was all loopy and in an ICU bed, and now he's doing flips and cursing and being back to like OG Rex.
Yeah, like nothing has changed. It's really weird. But
like I feel like we could have had a little bit more development with that one, but
yeah, I guess the only thing is he does have a robo hand now. But the funny thing was, after they mentioned all these things about the issue of having all this secret silliness happen to make animation work, we watched in multiple frames, and I think they did it on purpose to see if we were still paying attention.
Continuity errors.
Yes, and it felt on purpose because it was after.
It was, yeah, and it was also just frame after frame.
Yes. So
of things changing.
And the change was Rex's things on his belt. The I think they're like the stick things that he has change in and stuff that he can also just charge them up and just throw them for explosives.
Explodey glow sticks.
He kept having tons and tons of them, and then all of a sudden he looks down and they're just gone. Like he was throwing them and throwing and throwing, and you're like, there's still tons on his belt, and all of a sudden they're just gone. And then it kept coming back and forth. Like there'd be a scene where they were back on his belt, and then in the next scene they were gone. And I mean, it was over and over. Like you could tell it had to have been on purpose, and it was funny because it was
they were just totally screwing with us. It was so funny.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, like, has this happened before and we haven't paid attention?
I feel like it has.
And now it was just because they had let us know.
Deliberately pointed it out, like, not even 5 minutes sooner.
Like, hey, stupids, it's been happening the whole time Rex is on the show, and like other times with other characters, and we didn't know.
Ridiculous.
But Amber was kind of sad and awkward whenever he had to leave the Comic-Con. And we're like, break up? No.
No, they were like, it's okay, we'll be together.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to hold your stuff and you go play Superman and everything's fine. And
Right. And we did have Debbie again, but her story was pretty nothing burger
pretty
now.
much.
She might have a date. That's about it, which I'm glad we can just move past that, but it took a lot of time.
It's cool she's getting a date.
Yeah. Oh, and we have the Guardians of the Globe scenes a little bit. It's not much going on there either other than Rex. But they had this awkward conversation with the two guys, Black Samson and
Bulletproof.
Bulletproof, thank you.
The most unmemorable character of this season.
And apparently Samson is like blind to everything.
Pretty much.
Because wasn't he the one that goes, wait, he was an alien? For Shapesmith?
Yeah.
It was him. Like, apparently he is
like,
dumb.
Like, yeah, we've been knowing about this the whole time.
Duh. And he points out that they're a family, and then Bulletproof's like, dude,
no.
Mom and Dad are about to get a divorce. Like, it's that bad.
As a family, it's a very dysfunctional one.
Yeah. Because Robot and Monster Girl, he keeps trying to help her, and she just gets ticked off at him. Doesn't work. And finally, we get the scene where it all breaks down and Immortal resigns.
Temporarily.
Yeah. And then
he's going on a little bit of a vacation.
But I appreciate he was willing to admit, I'm messed up. I can't function.
Right.
Like, I appreciate that. He just goes,
you were alive for thousands of years and you still can't do your job. Right.
I love that even Bulletproof's like, our leader is so old, he literally craps dust. That's the best line ever. And then Cecil calls Robot back in to be the leader.
Terrible move, but seeing as how he was the previous leader, then all right.
And even Bulletproof makes a mention of he's supposed to be some genius, and yet he literally cloned a coworker's body so he could have a relationship with another coworker. He's not stable.
No.
It's not like good. Huh?
One that doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a mess. And
Rudy has just got to be the dumbest
smart person ever.
Yeah, because like, how many times does this chick have to tell you no before you finally are like, all right, I'll back off.
Get the hint. Get
let me fix you.
Hint.
Yeah, let me fix you. That's literally what he says.
Yeah, and that breaks everything.
Yes, because that is definitely the most suave thing you could ever say to a woman.
Yeah. How old is he technically supposed to be in that body?
I have no idea. Like, what?
It almost looks
Preteen?
like 13.
Yeah.
Maybe 12. You're like, geez, dude. It almost makes you wonder if his brain is messing also with his genius in a way because he's so young that it's like messing with where he used to be. Anyway.
Right.
What do we have after that?
Vulture White Chick.
Okay.
That was a little bit later, I'm pretty sure, right?
Is it just then that Mark and Amber have, again, talks, and he goes, I've got 2 nights off a week now.
Yeah.
And they go flying around,
yeah,
and we hoped and prayed that some accident happened and Amber was gone so we wouldn't have to deal with this anymore, and it didn't happen. And then they're sitting down to dinner, planning a vacation, spring break, and is it Anissa?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we forgot. Donald's another side story.
Yeah.
Because he's dealing with Rick, who's still crazy messed up, and also Donald's dealing with himself. And he finally Cecil sits him down and lets him watch the fact that it's actually Donald that's erased his own memory and made the choice to do so.
Right.
And he hasn't died one time. He's died
39.
39 is what he saw.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't even know if it's just that. Which I'm so questioning, like, how has he survived and they've been able to rescue him that much? That's insane.
He said he's like 2% human.
Yeah,
right.
98% of his body is robotic. It's like there's nothing else left. Like, how much spine, like, nerve does he have?
Like, that makes me wonder where he was at with how much human he is when Omni-Man grabbed him by the spine and crunched him. You could see blood come out.
Right.
So it was like, was that really his spine or?
Yeah. So apparently Donald's always just been a hero for everything all the time.
Guess.
And runs back into the burning building like an idiot. You're like, there's literally flames pouring out of there. Don't go in there.
I'll save you.
But it was interesting, and he does help Rick. That was good. So I think maybe Donald isn't become a supervillain. So that's good.
I hope not.
And so
he seemed like he was really about to hop off the rails there.
Yeah.
Last episode.
And Rick finally goes off the rails before Donald, and I think you called that last time.
Yeah, because he was like you thought Donald was bad. Rick is like actively having vivid PTSD nightmares about Sinclair and all that stuff. And
who's still on the government payroll, by the way.
Yeah.
So we see a scene later.
How messed up is that?
Sinclair is doing that stuff still for the government. Still doing it. So it's fine. Fine. Okay.
Average honorable CIA activities.
Oh my goodness, dude. It's you like always root for Cecil in a way, but yet you go,
it's still the government.
This dude's doing some dark stuff. Like, this is messed up. Anyway, we get back to Amber and them on the date, and all of a sudden Anissa from the Viltrumite Empire shows up and grabs Amber by the neck and is just like, you either
talk with me right now.
You talk now, or
she gets it. And everybody at this outdoor restaurant.
Yeah.
In an undisclosed location.
I will make all the fans very happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was crazy just how you can just see on Amber's face.
Having Amber dead. Oh my gosh. We missed it. Crap.
Jeez. Y'all have lost it. It's getting bad. But
this is the first ball rolling to get this relationship kaputz.
Yes.
So that's good.
So Anissa watches Mark for a while and then steps in to help with a major situation. And she's on a whole nother scale than Mark. And it's just Mark just doesn't understand what a fully trained Viltrumite that's also... Because I really do. I think Viltrumites get not just stronger with age, but also stronger with the more they get hurt. Like they almost get better and more... Because she even said it. Like, this is your training.
Right.
Like, she acknowledged that beating the snot out of him was actually helpful to him in some way. And it really does.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
And I think they've literally taken that very literal with the Viltrumites.
Right.
That they become more if they survive something. That their body becomes even more resistant, even more durable, even like their muscles become even stricter, like stronger.
Just like Alan.
Yeah. Like, I think that's what we're seeing is maybe the Alan whole concept was based off of what Viltrumites do.
Right.
And because he gets stronger the more he gets hurt. You know, not right in that moment, but over time, it's like his body learns from that. But then they finally, after talking several times and Mark rejecting, I mean, they go to town, and I mean, Anissa just wrecks him and just shows him how little he actually knows about combat. And then to the point where he blacks out for a little while because he won't just submit to her wishes.
And Cecil's even in his ear saying, like, just say that you will take us over and just get this over with because you're going to die.
Yeah.
And he continues to stand up for Earth.
Right. I mean, it's nutty.
To his own detriment, I feel.
Yeah.
Because things are about to get hairy with the general, as we see later on in this episode.
And she does leave and goes, you do this,
or you're dead.
The person who comes after me, it's not my job to
kill you.
Yeah.
It's his job. Or whoever's job.
Of what is coming. And it's like, wow. And we see, obviously, the guy with the red eye is more than likely going to be that person.
General, yeah.
Whoo! And, so then Mark and Amber have a scene, and it seems like, I think we're at the breakup, because they both basically like, what is this? And Amber goes, I was powerless. You're like, now you figured it out. You're living in a world of titans, and you are like, a mouse.
My life may not be anything like earth-shattering or like crazy important, but my life still matters, and my life can now be used as a weapon for your enemies to use against you.
Yeah, and she even asked that question too.
Yeah, she's finally starting to realize that like she's not just a girlfriend anymore, that she's about to become a pawn in this game that the Viltrumites are starting to play with Earth.
Because she even acknowledges kind of a plot point issue.
Right.
Where she goes, how did she find us? And Mark goes, I don't know. And that's the interesting thing.
Yeah, how did she find them?
There is no clear answer other than the fact that she knows Mark Grayson, his name. So there's that. So all she would have to do is... I mean, do we actually know how good of eyesight Viltrumites have? Do they have, super eyesight?
I don't know.
But she also was aware that Cecil was watching and listening.
Yeah, but that was also pretty easy to pick up from context clues with how he just immediately knew that there was, a situation as, like 1,000 miles away that needs to, be solved. And if you care about humans so much, let me prove it to you kind of deal. So she knew that, someone was in his ear talking to him and coaching him through it. That was pretty obvious to find out. But for how she actually knew his precise location, that's weird. Because I was wondering that myself too when she raised that question. I'm like, that's a really good question to ask.
Unless the spaceship that she came from was scanned. I don't know.
Right. Who knows? But then again, that spaceship was still out in deep space.
Right.
It was not just hovering outside Earth's atmosphere. She had to go back into deep space for that.
Kind of seems funny that Viltrumites have spaceships when... Is there a need for spaceships?
Not really, because, you saw that map when she was leaving the atmosphere. She was just gone.
Yeah.
She was
it almost seems like they would have a spaceship
only
to, for prisoners and things to store them because they don't have the ability to store oxygen like Viltrumites do.
Right.
That's what they talked about.
It is such a weird thing just to think about. There is no direct need for Viltrumites to have them. But maybe it's just a show of force that, we have this too if we need it.
Right.
But it's kind of pointless.
Just being lazy. They want a ship.
Yeah.
They want to fly.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a break. So, Amber and Mark may be broken up. It seemed like that was the conclusion, but it wasn't for sure. And then we get the scene with Alan the alien almost getting run over by the spaceship that Anissa came from.
Yep.
And they have a fight, and, apparently he's capable of going toe-to-toe with Viltrumites now.
Yeah, because, she punched him in the face, pretty hard. And he was like, wow, that hurt a lot less than last time. And then he just turns around and gives her a haymaker, and she's just bleeding from her nose.
Yeah.
And she is, visibly distressed by this because she, takes the blood off her face and looks at it, and she's kind of, surprised.
Yeah.
But she still kind of remains headstrong and is like, your species is dumb. You can't withstand a Viltrumite. We're going to take you aboard our ship and blah, blah, blah.
She says something like that, doesn't she? No, Radovan or whatever his race is this strong.
Unovan or something like that.
Yeah, Unovan. And...
Talks about scientists tearing him apart to figure out how strong he is.
Yes, to find out.
What makes him tick.
Our friend is also here with us in the room. It's not Gowron speaking from behind Will.
It could be.
It is me. The voices are getting so strong, they're coming through the microphones. Anyway, so Alan actually feigns being knocked out, so he gets on board their prison ship. And I guess because he knows that Nolan was captured. Maybe?
He said he would check it out for Mark.
Yeah.
So here it is.
So this is
his ticket on board.
Is Alan the alien actually starting to wise up a little? I think he might be.
So.
My boy's growing up.
That'd be crazy if he just totally ripped the ship from inside out. Just goes in there and acts like he's all powerless and everything, and then just tears some Viltrumites to shreds. That'd be awesome.
Right. I do find it funny though. Anissa is that dumb to think that he's just that fine after he hit that hard and dodged that many punches.
Once, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine."
Anyway, that's funny.
Yeah.
And then she does her 2-foot jab kick, and all of a sudden he's knocked out cold.
Yeah. Okay. I love watching Viltrumites fight.
Even I knew that. I was like, he's not knocked out.
Yeah. Can we also
that's a little sus.
Backtrack a second. Can we also agree Viltrumites have some of the coolest fighting style, but also Anissa I think has the best scene of this whole episode where she plows through a kaiju and then immediately stops, and she's going so fast that she is literally covered in its blood, and then stops
immediately, and all the blood flies off.
All of it gone.
Because Nolan,
he flew into space.
Nolan explained that in the first season that they don't just fly; they manipulate the air around them as a method of propulsion. So she can just stop immediately, and go as fast as she wants again. Like Viltrumites are crazy.
They're just insane.
They're nuts.
Sorry. Wow. I think that's it. Other than the after credits scene, then.
After credit scene with
so we have Mark up on the building.
I can't remember his
hopefully crying over his broken up relationship.
Freshly broken
thank you.
Please.
And he gets a call from his mom, but it's not his mom that answers. It's big brain alien guy, but human.
What even is his name?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
That finally he's actually doing soming,
right?
And he's
like, "Hello, Mark. When are you coming home?"
That's such a great
dinner. He didn't say like for dinner, but that'd be funny if he did.
It was.
But he was pretty much holding his mom and Oliver at.
Yeah.
I don't want to say gunpoint because it wasn't a gun, but it was like his crazy telekinetic brain powers,
Right.
So
yeah. Finally, we're gonna get something from him.
Angstrom
time
Levy is his name.
Huh?
Angstrom Levy.
That's
Angstrom
right.
Levy. Yeah.
Interesting.
What's his supervillain name or superhero name? Or what are you gonna call it? I really hope it's just Brain.
I
don't remember. Okay. So
Elias Levy.
Yeah,
Levi?
we finally he's gonna have something to do
after being missing for the entirety of the season, except for the first 2 episodes where he does all of his cool, multi-dimensional stuff, and then just dips.
Yeah, what a pointless thing. But
and then he's like, "I'm going home," in the last scene,
like
the last after credit scene, which was not elaborated any further in this episode.
Right. I'm sure it's leading up to something now. Finally, 1 episode left. Like this last episode better be.
What is this guy's deal? What does he want with Mark?
Yeah.
What seriously? What matters with that? I don't understand.
I really hope he gets taken over by the alien things, the Sequids, and then he takes them over and destroys them all.
Oh.
He's like, I'm a hero now. Anyway.
What, the Angstrom or what?
Yeah, Angstrom just cuz.
I feel like if he got attached to a Sequid, it would just be humanity's death at that point.
You almost think, but maybe he's so strong now, mind-wise, that the Sequid couldn't even
penetrate
it. Not necessarily get through his skin, but just overpower his mind.
Right. That's kind of what I meant. Like it's like psychic.
Yeah, I don't know. Super weird stuff.
Totally.
So, all right. Well, we have a third person in the room. He's off camera, but Blaine, this is your first episode ever of Invincible, actually?
Probably, I'd say so.
So, you haven't seen any of this yet?
He doesn't know yet.
I've seen, technically I've probably seen the entire first episode just through clips, but I've seen so many clips of season 1 through 2 that...
He doesn't know yet. All right, so Blaine, 0 through 10... this episode, what would you rate it? And then we'll come over to our.
That's honestly ratings. Kind of interesting because to see what someone on the outside thinks.
Now, unfortunately, you've heard our thoughts with this too just now.
So I would say, for this episode, from what I've seen from other episodes, I'd say like a 7, maybe.
7
out of
10 for you?
7.
Okay,
that's pretty fair. Yeah.
So pretty high.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Why?
It's just honestly I know a little bit about it. But
That's fine.
For how little I know and how much I know, it does make a decent amount of sense on a few things.
Yeah.
It does explain a few things, like the one kid that wanted to jump off a roof. It explained why before I knew.
Yeah, they have good reviews in this show too. Like at the very beginning, it's helpful.
And originally, the guy with glasses that died 39 times over however more.
Yeah,
I thought he was dead before, and then he came. Then he was there. I was like, huh.
Yeah, Donald. Yeah, Donald.
I guess he's here. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Will, what about you?
I'm gonna have to go with a 7 as well. Really good plot points being made. Also, just a really visually pleasing episode. Just
True.
like getting to watch Viltrumites in action and get more lore on the Viltrumites. It's like themselves is just I love this aspect of the show. I've always been fascinated with the Viltrumites.
Good.
I think they're awesome, even though they're totally psycho and crazy and evil. Sort of. I mean, their morals are sort of okay. Their execution of said morals is not okay. That's pretty much how I feel about it.
That's fair. So, what did we rate the last episode?
A 5.
Did we?
Yeah, because like half of it was dealing with the stupid Mark and Amber crap that we're still dealing with, and we're going to have to deal with again next episode now.
Mm-hmm. So did we both arrive at a 5 last time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or we might. I think I was like feeling a little generous and gave it a 5.5, but I did not feel generous enough to make it a 6.
Okay.
So this one is 7, just because
7
we're
for you.
finally getting, more Viltrumite action, more stuff with Alan.
Yeah.
More stuff with Angstrom, now that I finally know what his name is, because he's been absent this entire season. So finally getting him back and doing stuff. I can't wait to find out what his motives are.
Right.
What does he want with Mark and his family? I don't understand, but
yeah,
we shall see.
So I'm honestly, from hearing you guys, I'm torn. Because my initial thought was a 7 actually does sound good, and then you guys said 7, so I'm like, that makes sense. We're good. And the more I think about this, it's not as much Amber Mark crap as the last episode.
This was actually a tolerable amount this time.
But there was still a lot.
Sort of.
Yeah, and that you're right. It was way more tolerable, but we had to deal with the Comic-Con, and the only reason that was okay seeing is because the funny conversation with the creator of Sandstorm.
Honestly, that made up
that helped
all
a ton.
of the bad stuff for this episode is just that casual fourth wall break that was so funny.
Yeah.
It's just unnecessary stuff like that can totally turn a viewer's mood around.
Mm-hmm. Man, this is a hard one because I'm just so sick and tired of Amber and Mark stuff where it's like, it's obviously not working. Everything is awkward. Get it over with. And we didn't get the breakup for sure. It seems like that's what we have, but nobody said it for sure other than where does that leave us? I don't know. Well, maybe that's an answer. Well, that sounds like a breakup mostly.
Yeah.
But not 100%. This could literally go on for another season and a half because that wasn't clear.
Please don't. Please.
I'll be honest. I think I'm at 5.85. I
thought for sure you were going to throw out a 6, but
I know.
Okay.
I thought I was almost to a 6, but I'm like, I don't want to. It's not quite 5.5, but it's close. But it's not quite a 6 either.
Maybe a 7 was too generous.
That's a hard thing. You guys can be with that. It's okay. I just don't. I'm just so sick and tired of Amber ruining good story, and I think the creators of the show kind of enjoy doing it because they don't have to animate as much. And honestly, then calling it out in the episode
during the episode
makes me wonder if that's not the case. And then there were several scenes where they had Amber only shown from here down. Like her mouth down for some reason. So they just had to animate here and not her eyes. After the animation thing that I love the whole scene concept and making fun of the animation concept thing, they did those tricks, and there was a point where you go, I feel like they're almost as calling out their own laziness.
It makes me because I plan on watching the rest of it probably either tonight or tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be looking for that stuff now just to see if they put it in there.
I don't remember ever being distracted by that in the first season. And I think
how much did you pay attention to it?
That's just it. I've watched the first season 3 times at least because I love it. Maybe 4, I don't remember. At least 3. Because I love the first season.
That's great.
And I don't ever remember seeing things that really made me go, this is taking me out of the moment. The Comic-Con scene took us out of the moment on purpose, and it was funny. But then they intentionally showed us Rex changing things, and it was like, haha, that's funny. But then Amber scenes with Mark, they had these moments where they were showing things weird. On purpose, it felt like, but yet not, to save money. And maybe this last episode is so jam-packed, but yet we have had episode 7, episode 6, episode 5, episode 4 that just have boring moments where they're sitting and talking and talking. And the first season that happens too, but I never felt like I was so slow that it made me mad.
Right.
And the more I talk about it, the more mad I get.
I feel like that scene not only addressing the laziness, but it also could have been addressing the issues with the writers' strike.
Well, that's just it.
Why this season got split in 2 and delayed.
It was delayed for like over a year and a half anyway.
And then it went on another 3-4 month hiatus.
Yeah, they split it in between. It's not like they didn't have time. But it feels like something is off, and yet when the moments are happening with action or good story, it's interesting and it's fun. And I'm like, I want to keep enjoying Invincible. Like first season and the beginning of this, like the first 2 episodes, I remember things were happening and interesting. It's like, oh my gosh, but it was chaotic too. That not everything was matching up yet. We're like, okay, we know from the first season that this happens, and then it really draws back in. But we got lost for a few seasons.
Yeah.
Literally lost in the plot. Because Mark and Amber, and it feels like now, I'm going, is it just to save budget for animation? Because either A, they need to just save money. B, the writer strike stuff had made it have issues, so they need to spend more time with Mark and Amber. Because they go, we don't have enough time, energy, and effort to do these other things. Or are we finally going to get a full-on episode where it's more action than just talking?
Because I miss those episodes, because that's what the first season felt like.
Yeah.
Minimal talking, more fighting. And it was a good balance.
Yeah.
Because this is a superhero show. I'm not watching this for the drama. I'm watching to see Viltrumites beat the crap out of things.
Yeah.
Like the Godzilla movies.
Right.
Right. I want to see drama.
Exactly. Like
I want to see
2014 Godzilla, where Godzilla has maybe 15 minutes of screen time. I don't care about the human stuff. I want to watch this dude level cities fight kaijus.
But that's what's funny here, because you just made a great point. One of the best movies of last year that I think a lot of people did see, but it wasn't enough, was Godzilla -1. And I have talked on my channel about this before.
See that.
This movie is the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. And it was done for $15 million. So much less than
the lowest budget a Godzilla movie has had in a long time.
Yeah. Like, we're talking budget stuff from back in the time when Godzilla was in black and white kind of stuff. You know, I'm sure those were way less. But, you know what I'm saying? But, like, comparatively. Because the other ones are, like, hundreds of millions of dollars. And then Godzilla -1, $15 million with a guy in a suit, and they have CGI tanks. That's the worst thing in the whole movie is the CGI tanks. Godzilla looks fantastic. It is awesome.
I think what's comparative to that is, like, 2004 Godzilla King of the Monsters.
To an extent, yes, but if you haven't seen it yet, you have to understand that there's something different too. Because the reason I love Godzilla -1 is actually this. I care about the people in the movie, and it's actually a movie about the people in it as well as Godzilla, and I never want to go to see a Godzilla movie because of people. Never. I want to see Godzilla, and I came away from that movie going, I actually care about those people. Those people are amazing because it's a movie set right after World War II.
Right.
Not a modern thing. And this person is a person that's the kamikaze pilot in World War II that didn't do his job. So he didn't go out to do kamikaze. He chickened out. And so he's dealing with the PTSD of his whole culture saying, you failed. You came back to us. You are a failure. And it's a story.
Yeah,
and you care about it.
That's rough.
It's insane. And he goes back and ends up starting this like kind of pseudo family with this girl who's living on the streets who found this little baby and is taking care of her because the bombings happened to Japan. And so you care about the people in this because they have insane, intense life. And then Godzilla shows up in this story and starts making a mess of the fact that what's left of Japan is about to be wrecked even worse. And you care about the story. You care about the people. And yet, Invincible Season 1 has these moments where things are intense because Nolan is sitting down in the room and is a murderer. And he's playing like he's a family man. So there's tenseness, even though it's just a family moment. And Mark's going, I have superpowers. Yay! And Nolan's over going, crap, now I have to train this kid and bring him up and I have to start my diabolical scheme because now humans are usable.
I forget what show it's from, but it's with like Bryan Cranston. And it's like his son comes up to him and like asks him about something. And all of a sudden he just turns to him and all the lights go dark. And he's like, son, once you start the path, there is no leaving the path.
Malcolm in the middle.
That's right. You're right.
Wow.
So it was just like that. He wasn't like, yay, my son has powers. It's like, are you ready for this?
No.
Because you need to be.
Too.
Yeah.
Like super foreboding, ominous stuff.
Yeah. So,
do you know what you're doing?
Right.
Are you ready for this?
I'm sorry, guys.
But what's crazy is Godzilla was already a metaphor for the bombings that have already taken place.
Yeah. Well, and
Godzilla.
that's why everybody needs to see
Godzilla's second wave.
That's why everybody needs to see that movie because he does in that movie. He's Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and then Godzilla in that movie. Like that's basically concept in film. And I have never, like I said, I've never cared about characters in a Godzilla film like I did that one. That they actually made me go, I'm interested and invested in the people here. Because they're
also nice
actually
to see
interested.
Godzilla not be made into a hero.
Yeah.
And finally just be the
It was awesome.
monster that he's supposed to be.
It was awesome because you got to see Godzilla just being the monster that he is.
Because now we have like this Godzilla and Kong nonsense.
Yeah.
With legendary pictures,
Yeah.
Yeah, team up.
And we got another one coming out.
Team up, yay. And Kong has a robotic hand for some reason.
Thanos Gauntlet.
Yeah. So all that to say, and so we can conclude here, and I'm sorry, guys, that I got pretty passionate on that. Godzilla!
But it just looks like him, but it's not due to copyright reasons, Godzilla.
Yeah, I just wish that Invincible was telling more intense story where even the character moments you cared more about, and right now I don't care.
Right.
Every time Mark and Amber are on there, or I honestly at this point, every time Debbie's on there going, my life is a mess.
And she is just horridly wine drunk and just
I mean, it's like it's been 7 episodes of it, and at first it was interesting, and now it's like we get it.
right. It's like all
You're
right.
sad.
We get it. You've had problems. So yeah, I think 5.85.
Okay.
And after my rant, I'm.
I might lower mine to a 6 because when I think about it, what I liked about this had nothing to do with any of the Amber or whatever her face was. I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's her or the mom, except at the very end. The thing I liked was when Rex was there and he was fighting what's his dude. When he fought the Viltrumite chick, when he fought and failed to fight the kaiju. Nothing really enjoyed. The only part of the story I liked was Glasses guy.
Donald.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he seemed interesting.
Right.
He had a cool backstory.
Which is like the first time that Donald has been interesting in this show ever. Like, this is the first time I've ever actually appreciated Donald as a character and not as a accessory to Cecil.
True.
Because, like, that's how he's been for the majority of the show, is just, like, the silent yes man to Cecil.
Right.
And now he finally has a personality, which is
Yeah.
interesting to see it kind of blossom in this episode.
Right. So one other thing, the one person I still care about in a big way right now wasn't in this episode at all. Adam Eve.
Yeah, where was she this episode?
Even-
No, she was in there.
They even showed Shrinking Ray.
No, she was in here this episode. One frame. she was dealing with the one dude. She's like, "Hey, where's Adam Eve?"
Oh, that's right.
dealing
She
with this
was
dude.
in it. She
And
was
that was
in it. That's true. Okay, you know what? She was in it, but I'm still. What's your rating now, Blaine?
Probably about a 5. Like, to be honest,
You went down to 5?
5.5, maybe. 6.
Jeez.
It's just, I mean, for a first episode,
Yeah, season 1's so much better than this episode.
it's just there's too much talk.
Will, are you still at a 7?
I'm going down to a 6.
Okay.
I'll still give it a 6 for all the cool action fighting stuff with, advancing plot points, but we're still not there with the balance between, superhero show, which is what it's supposed to be, and pointless drama.
Yeah. So, I gave it last time a 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So Adam Eve was in it. However, she was only in it for half a second, and she was fighting the laser guy again. Who doesn't just dismember that dude's arm?
Exactly. Why don't they have him in like a maximum security prison at this point?
Yeah.
This guy's been a problem throughout the show.
All you have to do
numerous
is
times.
take off his cyborg arm, and he's not a threat to anybody.
Exactly. Which didn't they do one time?
I don't know. Maybe
And then
it
he
blew
grabbed
up
that
or something.
He grabbed that weird orb that Robot had in that bridge for like the team
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
It's so weird.
Whatever.
Okay.
I can't even remember that guy's name.
I think after my epic rant, and you guys even, I'm changing mine to a 5.1.
Man.
Right above my previous rating, because it is better than the last episode, but barely.
I think your last rating was a 5.5.
Dang it.
Well, no, wait, that was mine.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoops.
5.1.
You were still at 5.
I'm
That's right.
just ticked off at this. I'm so sick and tired of Amber, Debbie. I mean, I have now gotten bored with Debbie. Last episode, I didn't complain about Debbie.
Debbie has
but
a
now,
date.
Debbie's
I'm
subplot
done
is semi
with Debbie.
interesting. The fact that Debbie has a date is a million times more interesting than anything that Mark and Amber have to do together.
Also, conspiracy theory, I totally think Debbie is only making money in real estate because the government, through Cecil, is buying the properties that she's selling for over. Because did she say it was $150,000 over asking price? I think she said something
I don't think
crazy
it was
like that.
much. I think she said it was a few thousand.
Okay, I hope so. Because if I go,
Because if it's 150,000
Yeah.
over,
I thought that's what I heard. Like, there's no way. Like, wake up, stupid. That's
are
the
you
government's
selling
going.
$1 million.
We know you need a paycheck.
They're buying up properties for more surveillance houses.
And I love how the front of their house still has
A giant
The
hole.
huge
Yeah.
crater in front of their house is still not fixed.
from
Even though this has been months and months down the road since this occurred.
7/8
It
of a
is
season
still
ago.
not fixed.
I mean, it sounds about the same to our real world. You see construction. It's going to
That's true.
Right, but I've seen
All
houses go from a wood frame to being completely constructed within a matter of like 2 months.
Yeah.
What are they doing with this house? But
Nobody's
anyways,
So your house.
All right. Are we good?
I think we're good.
I mean, I don't know if I'm good at this point. I'm pretty ticked off.
I'm just
but
exhausted and ready for next week.
My
And
favorite
hopefully
part-
things will be better.
we hoped last time, and here we are again.
Look, last time we were like this away from a breakup, and now we're like this. So we just got to hold on to hope that Adam Eve is just going to come in and save Mark from this nightmare of a relationship. Next
Hey, I'm
episode,
better.
we can just close the gap and be done with it and start enjoying episodes again. And maybe they'll finally start getting back to the action drama balance that we had during season 1, and things will finally start to happen.
Okay, hear me out.
But one can only hope.
Hear me out. New relationship has to happen. Amber and Rex.
Perfect.
One is just a jerk. The other has half a brain. Literally.
But I feel like Amber also has half a brain with some of her logical choices
Full
she
brain.
makes.
But here's the good news. If Rex and Amber got together,
Smooth brain.
Rex would finally lose it fully and just go and she'd be gone. Problem solved.
Look, my favorite part about Amber in the show that we just watched was where she almost died to the Viltrumite.
Coming from someone that has literally not
I don't
seen
even know.
anything else
Doesn't
from
even
the
know. He doesn't know, and he already
show.
realized.
And Amber is this much of an obvious, non-likable character.
And this is after they already changed her. Oh, believe me, this is the boring
And
version
the
of Amber.
whining, the constant whining and dissatisfaction with their relationship.
I-
Okay, we get it. Make
Mom-
it stop.
It's fine going to Comic-Con. I just want to be with you. As her eyes go, but I don't want to be with you.
Are we in a line? I thought you wanted to be together.
Also, side note, Mark had a really weird smirk in that beginning
What was
of
that,
the
like,
song.
half thing? Just like...
Yeah, before he met the creator. All right. Anyway, sorry guys, we were like 28 minutes in, and then sorry, I had to.
Godzilla.
Go see Godzilla -1. Way better than Invincible Season 2 right now.
I need to see it.
Sponsor us,
I also
Godzilla.
need to see.
Thank you all for joining us.
Godzilla too.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.